The Halo franchise is everyone's favorite Christmas gaming series, and while over the years bonus maps released that aren't Christmas themed, there's no denying that the Halo design philosophy has always been centered around designing the absolute best and most Christmas maps for players to enjoy. I mean, Halo without Christmas is like Christmas without, well, Christmas. So today, Luke and I are looking at all the Christmas maps from Halo and giving our professional ratings on them. Let's go ahead and jump into it. First up, looking at Halo Combat Evolved, we're going to Ice Fields. And honestly, this is a pretty good map to start things off with. It definitely has the Christmas vibe to it, but it's not without its flaws.
While it's generally good, the Mars-looking planet in the skybox takes away from the Christmas feeling a little bit. You know, Mars is not a very Christmassy planet.
So for this one, I'm gonna go ahead and have to give this one a 6 out of 10.
I'll give it a 7 out of 10 because generally I still like it, even though there's Mars in the background.
Next, we're looking at Sidewinder, which is one of the iconic levels from Halo because it is known for what it tried to do in the Christmas genre of gaming.
Walls are a lot lower than they were on ice fields, but that just means you see the orange planet even more. For some reason, in the original Halo, they put in this orange planet into almost every map.
And while this map was a good start with the Christmas genre, it did have some really nice red and green lights around it. Still, there are some things that are left to be desired, so ultimately, I'm gonna give it a good 7 out of 10.
I'll give it a 5 out of 10 here because, you know, just the bigger orange planet, but it's still pretty Christmassy.
Yeah, that orange planet's problematic. Next, we're going on to Dolphinphobia, and honestly, this map, we were unsure if it really was a Christmassy map, but upon walking around it and exploring it, it becomes so apparent that this map was really designed to look at the root of Christmas, and just basing a whole map around the North Pole is a cool concept, especially if you're looking at it like it's Santa Claus's secret base.
Well, you got little blue Christmas lights on the outside, and then you got green and red lights on the inside, which are the Christmas colors. But again, Bungie had to put in the orange planet for some reason. We still don't know why.
Yes, the orange planet really is just taking away from the potential of all of these maps from Combat Evolved, but maybe the later Halo games will fare a little bit better. For this one, I'm gonna go ahead and give it a 6 out of 10, reluctantly.
Since I'm getting frustrated with these orange planets, I'm just gonna give it a 4 out of 10.
That's fair. Surprisingly enough, even though Halo is a Christmas gaming franchise, for some reason there were only 2 Christmas maps in Halo 2, which was a little bit odd, but let's at least take a look and see how these ones hold up. First, we wanted to look at Lockout, which going into this, we thought would have a lot of potential.
Well, the skybox to start off with, it's nice with the mountains and the snow, but then there's no trees and no lights, which is like half of the Christmas feel.
And on top of that, if you look at the skybox, it just looks like a low quality PNG file stapled out there, and it doesn't necessarily spark the Christmas spirit that we were hoping for.
So we're gonna go ahead and both give this a 4 out of 10.
Yes. Next, we're going on to the level Containment, and honestly, sometimes we just feel like maybe Bungie was really struggling with the Christmas spirit when developing Halo 2.
Well, first of all, this whole map looks like you went to a scrapyard in winter, which is yikes.
Yeah, and while there's caves that look kind of like Hoth, and that's kind of cool because we like Star Wars, it doesn't necessarily spark joy and Christmas spirit on our insides.
Also, this looks like it's about to rain, not about to snow.
And it just feels too much like they were going for a February 12th design when really they should have been shooting for a December 12th design. So for this one, I'm gonna give it a 2 out of 10.
And I'm gonna give it a 1 out of 10.
Now we can also jump ahead to Halo 2 Anniversary, where they took another approach to really try to redesign Lockout in the form of Lockdown, and this was 343's chance to maybe redeem some of the Christmas maps that were on the lacking side of things.
While the original already had good attempts at making it feel Christmassy, this one really puts it over. There's the Alpine feel, which is nice. It just feels like you're in a log cabin and there's some snow effects. The snow is coming at you. It just feels really, really cozy.
And while it does feel cozy and it's definitely an improvement from Lockout, there's going to be some points deducted because of these naked alien things in the tubes scattered around. So I'm going to go ahead and give this one a 6 out of 10, still an improvement.
And I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10 because I think this one is pretty cozy.
When Halo 3 rolled around, Bungie really listened to the fan outcry for the lack of Christmas maps and did include more Christmas maps throughout the course of Halo 3's lifespan. Starting things off, we can look at Snowbound, which actually served as the multiplayer tutorial level that started off a lot of players' experiences.
And while we just praised Bungie for including more Christmas maps, for some reason they brought back the orange planet in Snowbound. Once again, we got some nice Hoth looking tunnels. You know, that's always a good plus point, just because, you know, it kind of feels Christmassy.
But then there's nothing really more Christmassy than that, other than there just being snow. I mean, there's turrets surrounding the map, but getting killed for exploring isn't really something in the spirit of Christmas. So we're gonna have to dock it there too. I'm gonna give this one a 2 out of 10.
I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 10 because I just like the Star Wars Hoth feel.
Moving on, we can look at Avalanche, which was the return and expansion on a classic Christmas map from Halo CE.
And this one really goes all out. It has snow variants of vehicles, the trees even have snow on them, and it just feels like a little winter wonderland in Halo.
And while sometimes the things on the inside parts of the level can feel stale, the skybox is beautiful, and there's nice blue lights, but unfortunately there's no green or red lights, which would have really tied it together and maybe put this up for a close to perfect score. Still, I'm giving this one a much higher rating than anything we've really seen so far, with an 8 out of 10.
I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10.
Next, we're going to the iconic Christmas map that was introduced in Halo 2. We've talked about it a little bit, but they completely reworked it to try to better fit into the Christmas spirit of things. And honestly, Blackout does such a great job at expanding on these Christmas ideologies.
Well, this whole map looks like a North Pole research station, which means no matter what your profession is, you can still celebrate Christmas.
And honestly, it's just so cool how there's a full moon, there's so many northern lights and different types of stars you can look at.
And there's even a little chimney with smoke coming out of it.
This is just a map that we really, really like. It has Christmas presents like the basketball hoop where you can shoot some hoops, or you can look off in the distance and see some ice down below. Whichever it is, this is definitely one of the greatest Christmas maps in all of Halo, and we're both giving this one a 9 out of 10. Next, we're going on to Valhalla, and honestly, we don't know what happened with this map.
Well, there's some snow, but not a whole lot. There's some pine trees present, but they don't have their usual Christmas feel because of the lack of snow.
Fortunately enough, there's still some snow up on the mountainside, which helps a lot, and there's even snow over by the crashed Pelican, so at least some parts of the map are having better times than others. But at the same time, we also have to still appreciate the fact that there is a Christmas message hidden on this level, which is nice.
Well, this map feels like it's April and Christmas is long over, which just kind of makes it sad for me.
So for this one, I'm going to go ahead and give it a 5 out of 10.
I'm only gonna give it a 3 out of 10.
Now we're going to jump to Halo Reach, which was Bungie's final goodbye to the Christmas genre of games, and they started things off by giving us not a lot to work with, really starting things down when they released the level Sword Base, the only Christmas level in the base set of the game.
It almost feels like a James Bond villain's base in the mountains. There's little snow though, and that's basically everything Christmassy about it.
And on top of that, there's bamboo. Bamboo's not very Christmassy. We're gonna give this a 2 out of 10. Next, we can turn to look at the Noble DLC pack, which introduced Breakpoint, which was one of the final maps that Bungie put in, and really served as the goodbye to the Christmas genre.
Though this map feels a little too industrial, almost the same level as Containment, and the skybox is kind of uninspired and nothing to write home about.
And honestly, writing home during Christmas is a very important thing. Fortunately, there are some snowy mountains, so it's better than some other levels we've seen in the past. I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 10.
I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 10 because it gave me Containment PTSD.
And then we can shift gears to Solitary, which was 343 Industries' first real introduction to the fans of Halo, and they were willing to showcase what they were capable of doing with the snow genre and the Christmas genre.
So what is the most notable thing that 343 Industries copied from Bungie? The Orange Planet.
How could they do that to us?
Well, even though the Orange Planet is back and the skybox is half ruined, there's some windows that have Christmassy view though, and there's some snow coming through the hole in the wall, which, you know, gives it this icy feeling.
We do appreciate that we are above a snow planet, and the higher you go up in the level, there's more snow that you can see, there's icicles hanging off the sides, and it looks like there's a little reading nook with some nice snowy views, which is something that we really appreciated. So it wasn't necessarily the worst, but it wasn't necessarily the best either, and we're both going to give this one a 5 out of 10. Next, it was time for 343 to show us what they were capable of in their full game Halo release. Starting things off, we had Longbow, which was a pretty large Christmas themed map.
Well, and they started off really strong. Trees on the level have the greenest green we've ever seen in any of the Halo games. It just looks like a fresh tree that came from the forest, and if aliens had Christmas, these are the trees they would probably use.
You also have these huge Santa's sled launchers on both sides where you can see Santa take off, which is a really nice touch. And the skybox is very nice for the most part, besides that weird orange trail in the sky. It kinda is reminiscent to the orange planet. We're gonna give this one a 7 out of 10. Next, we're going on to Meltdown, and this one was a little bit underwhelming.
It is very reminiscent of Containment, but since it's smaller in scale, and it has like less brown spots, which puts it a little bit above Containment.
But fortunately enough, the caves are bigger than Containment, and this one has icicles hanging from the ceiling also, so we're gonna give this one a 3 out of 10. We pretty much agreed on this one too. Then we're going to Ragnarok, which was a remake and a retake on the level Valhalla from Halo 3. And while Valhalla had a lot that we had yet to want to see, we still really wanted that map to just be more Christmassy. We don't know what 343 was doing here.
So instead of making it more Christmassy, they just took out Christmas. We have a severe case of de-Christmasization.
Yeah, honestly, the de-Christmasization is so apparent here, it just makes us really question whether or not 343 was able to capture the same design philosophy that Bungie originally had when they're trying to make Halo games going forward. It's made the Halo community completely lose faith in 343, and this reason alone is why there's so much distrust between the fan base and the developer.
They really took the Merry Christmas out and made it a happy holiday map.
Yeah, and the snow being gone is just so heartbreaking. We're gonna go ahead and both give this map a 0 out of 10 easily. Next, we're going to Skyline, which was really a different and innovative take that came out in DLC later on.
And the only real reason we're including this map is because this map reminds us of the movie Home Alone 2.
Yeah, we see people in traffic trying to get home to their children for Christmas dinner, and we just really like the city feel of this, and it's very commercialized, much like Christmas is in real life.
And you see a little snow on the landing platforms when you look down into the skybox, and it's just this big skyscraper feel, almost feels like New York of the future.
Yeah, so ultimately, we're gonna go ahead and give this one a 5 out of 10. Next, we're going to Halo 5 Guardians, and it was really time for 343 to show the fan base if they had learned anything from their work on Halo 4. First, we can look at the level Stasis, which was a snow level.
We've talked about a research station before on this list, but this one just feels like an abandoned research station, which kind of makes it feel empty without any Christmas joy. And the only real reason I could see something like this being relevant for Christmas if there was like a weird Krampus horror movie.
And while we're at it, it's not really good for racing either, which is a very important part of the Christmas genre if you didn't know. I'm going to go ahead and give this one a 2 out of 10 for that reason.
And I'll give it a 3 out of 10 because sometimes I do like to watch these crappy horror Christmas movies.
And then finally, we're going to Halo 5's Glacier, which really was the quintessential expansion of the Christmas genre that Halo fans have been waiting for such a long time.
There's just so many parts of the map that make it feel unique, and there's a Christmas cave, there's a Christmas hill, then you get the wide open view of like the North Pole, and it's basically a Christmas canvas that you can just build your own Christmas wonderland on in any way you want and any way you can imagine.
We really appreciated the fact that 343 was willing to finally give the fan base the tools to make the Christmas game and the Christmas game types they've always dreamt of, rather than waiting for developers to finally understand the number one thing that fans of Halo had been waiting for all this time.
And the thing that most people were obviously waiting for is the chance to build a log cabin in Halo.
Yeah, there's a log cabin you can go in. It's kind of neat. We're giving this one a 10 out of 10 easily.
Yes, best map.
So these are our ratings for the top Christmas levels out of all of Halo. We've definitely had a journey of Halo fans being bogged down by terrible Christmas maps, but finally it seems like things occasionally can look up every now and again when we get that amazing Christmas map, and it really means so much to us.
Well, and as Master Chief famously said, Merry Christmas and all of you a good night.
But hey, if you like this video, be sure to hit the like button, leave a comment down below on your favorite Christmas map, and subscribe with notifications on for more videos just like this, and we'll see you all next time with a brand new video. Bye guys.
Bye guys.